the dumbest idea I ever had. Why would I? Hey, it's Fine Girl Dime, and welcome back, Fine Girls. So I'm back with the Carnival story time, okay? So I think the last time we spoke, Megan had this random in the house, okay? So it's nighttime, you know, I'm in my jammies, and yeah, so just make sure you watch the second part so you're all updated. I'm just gonna get into the story time because the girls that know already what happened. I called Chauncey to, dang, what did I call this boy? Oh, Crybaby. So I pick up Chauncey to come get Crybaby because I'm just like, why did you leave him at our house? But apparently I feel like Megan has done this before where she basically like orchestrates this whole thing, but she doesn't tell me about it. So I'm not like in the know as far as what happened, because if it were up to me, I would still be at the party listening to Soca catching a wine, okay? If it were up to me. But I didn't want her to be in the car alone with two guys that she doesn't really know. So I came home, you know, I'm in my jam, I showered, okay, whatever. I don't want to get into the, you know, part 2 as much. So basically, I'm just like, you need to make sure your friend comes. I call his friend so his friend can come and get him. So basically, his friend comes and pick him up. So now it's just me and Megan. Do I have beef with Megan? No, I don't have any beef with Megan, but I do feel some type of way at the fact that she just let this random try and sleep over at the house, okay? So we go to sleep in the bed. We wake up the next day. It's time for Carnival. Not necessarily, because it doesn't start until later in the day. Like, we're taking our time getting ready. We're doing like the final touches to our costumes and everything. We're listening to music and all that stuff. And honestly, this is toxic AF, but we start talking as if nothing happened yesterday, but we still kind of touch up on it. She was like, yeah, you know, like, you know, he did a little and I did a little and that's what happened. And I was like, girl, I don't care if you do any of that. Like, just let me know so, you know, I can know what's going on. Like, you told me that you didn't want to do any like crazy stuff, and I'm not trying to stop what's going on because I definitely allowed, you know, a moment for y'all to do those things, but he can't stay here. Basically what I told y'all last time, okay? Like, make sure he don't stay here. If he do, he pay us some money for it. But honestly, I didn't feel comfortable him staying there because I don't know him. Yeah, it's the next day. We're doing our things. We're getting ready. We're beating our face and all that stuff. I'm texting Britt Bay and all that. We go to the Carnival. We get inside. We have our drinks, the pregame and all that. We're pregame. We're like, yo, party animal. And we're having so much fun pre-gaming before we actually get there. We have our costumes and everything. We call up an Uber. Uber comes. We get along with our Uber so well. Like, our Uber, I don't remember where he was from, but he spoke Arabic. So I was speaking Arabic to him. And like, he was just like, y'all are so nice. Like, I really like how nice y'all are. Like, I can tell y'all aren't from Miami because y'all are so nice. And then we're like, oh, thank you and all that stuff. And then I was like, hey, like, if you're not doing anything later, like, can you pick us up later tonight? And then like whatever Uber would have charged us, we can just give that to you directly, and you don't have to, like, you know, Uber, they take a cut and all that stuff. Like, we would just give him everything as opposed to sharing with Uber. So, I mean, if someone is not like, you know, if someone's crazy, this is not the safest thing to do. It's good to have it documented, but I've done crazier things. We haven't gotten to that story time just yet. But yeah, so he was like, oh yeah, for sure, I'll do that. So we're in the car. He's like, oh man, I need to get some gas. So he stops, he gets some gas. I actually had to use the restroom because, like I told y'all in part 2, I'm the friend that always got to use the bathroom. So I was like, yes, you can stop and get some gas because I actually got to use the bathroom. So he stopped the record, like he stopped the thing that's like timing how long our trip is. And he's like, yeah, y'all just have to pay me for that part. And I was like, okay, cool. So I go use the restroom and all that stuff. We see a sign that says you can't use the restroom in here. And I was like, you say we can't use the restroom in here? And he was like, no, it's good. I know the owner. And he was like, oh, hey, hubby T. And all that. No, he wasn't like, hey, hubby T. He was like, hey, all that stuff. He was like, you know, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, it's working. It's not out of order. It's not really out of order. So we're like, oh, okay. So we go back in there. I use the restroom, all that. We're having fun. We're like, yeah. And she's work. And she's like, and we getting ready. We're having fun and all that stuff. So eventually we go back to our Uber driver. We're gonna call him, we just gonna call him Habibi, okay? So Habibi is like, yeah, like, y'all want something to eat? Y'all want something to eat? I'm lit. And I'm like, yeah, I want something to eat. So he give us some enchiladas and all that stuff. And we're just like, yes. Y'all know I love food. So I was here for it. So he was like, yeah, I'm gonna get it. Okay, so he gives us this stuff. I'm in the back. We back in the car. I'm in the back seat eating the chalupa. It's not really a chalupa. It's enchilada. It's something. Okay, I don't really remember, but I'm eating it. And me and Megan, we just talking. I record a video. When I look back at that video years to come, I'm just like, that B don't really like me. And I could tell when I was looking at the video. I was like, but I was just like blinded by the friendship. So then, or what I thought the friendship was. So then we went to, okay, so we're at Carnival. We get out of the car. He's like, yeah, just let me know when y'all, like, let me know. Like, I'm gonna pick y'all up right here. Just let me know when y'all ready. And like, if I'm not on a ride or if my ride about to end, I'll let y'all know, like, whether I'm gonna come pick y'all up or whether y'all should just, whether it'll be easy for y'all just to get somebody else. I was like, okay, cool. So we go in there, they get our badges. We're able to bring our drinks and everything. We start eating. It's like, kind of like floats. If you've been at Mardi Gras, it's like floats going around. And you can kind of like see it. They're playing Caribbean music. You'll party anymore. When we come to all that's going on. So while all that's going on, I'm having fun. I'm like, yeah! Because I'm basically single right now. That's my fiance. That's how I'm feeling. So I'm just like, yeah! So then out of nowhere, this like, he not Samoan, but he was giving like big Samoan kind of vibes. Like he was a super tall person, super big, statuesque and everything. He was an Indian Trinidadian. And he was just like, hey, can I pick you up? I really appreciate him for asking, because there have been moments where I've been picked up without my permission. But he asked, and I was like, yeah, you can pick me up. So then he picked me up, and I'm like, yeah! So I'm like on his shoulders. I'm like, And we're having fun. We're dancing. Well, I guess I'm dancing, really. I don't know what he's doing on the bottom part. He's just like, yeah. And having fun and all that stuff. So we go, we eat and all that stuff. We're passing by. We just walking around, we people watching, eating some food and all that. And then we're drinking as well. We pass by these British people. They're like hood British people. They have like a bunch of golds and stuff like that. So one of them like pulls me over and he's like, hey, do you mind taking a picture of us? And I'm like, yeah, I can take a picture of, of y'all. Like, I don't mind taking picture of people. Cause I don't know, I just don't mind at all. I don't mind. So I get ready to like, I take a picture of him and he's like, oh, this really good. Like, y'all want to get in the picture? Y'all get in the picture with us too. So one of his friends take the picture and me and Megan get in the frame and we all take a picture together, okay? Like, And so we all take the picture together and like, that's it. And I go about our business. But the thing is, I realized Megan changed, like, she changed how she was. Like, the energy shifted and it was just like so negative and heavy. And so I'm just like, I don't know what happened, but clearly Megan, she must need some space or anything, because like I'm having a good time and I don't know like why this shift happened. And she's not telling me, because I asked her, I'm like, hey, what's going on? What's wrong? And she's like, nothing's wrong. I'm just like, she's saying that, but her actions is just showing it. The energy's not matching. The energy shifted drastically, like I told y'all. So with that happening, I tell her, I'm gonna go get some water. Cause I was like, I just need to be away from this energy. Like, it was so heavy and just like black hole like. So I was just like, I'm gonna go and get some water. So I go and get the water, but then I recognize she following me. And I'm just like, I just needed to reset from her bad energy. That's why I wanted to go and get some water. So I go away and she's following me. I'm like, you need water too? I can get you a water. And she's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go with you and get the water. I'm just like, oh, okay. So I'm kind of like disappointed that I don't get some time to myself. But I'm just like, okay, whatever. So we go together and then I see her crying. I'm just like, what's going on? And then I just like kind of pull her to the side and we sit down on on a bench randomly that's there. I don't know why that bench was there, but we sit down randomly on the bench and I'm just like, what's going on? Why are you crying? What happened? And she's like, I don't know what, excuse my nail. She's like, those people were talking about me. I just know they were talking about me. And I was just like, what made you think they were talking about you? They asked to take a picture of you. And then she said, I heard one person say that they didn't want to take a picture with me, that they didn't want to take a picture because I was in it. Like, oh, you're messing up the picture. Oh, this picture would be good if she wasn't in it. And I was like, personally, I didn't hear that, but Megan has better hearing than me, so I feel like I can't say that they didn't say that because I didn't hear that. And it's not like I was like oblivious, but I really be in my own world sometimes. Like if the roles were reversed and somebody said that about me and I heard it, I'm like, F them. Like, it's not like they were cute. And that's exactly what I told her. I was like, girl, like, I'm so sorry that they said that about you. But like, look at them. Like, you don't even like them. They're not your type anyway. And I mean, honestly, they look like they put their whole savings to come to, they look like they spent their whole savings to come to Carnival. Like, look at them. You know, like, come on. Like, sometimes you have to look at the messengers that's saying this. Like, would you even want to date them? And even if you did want to date them, it just means they're not the person for you. Like, I can think I'm a fine girl all I want. I can think I'm a fine girl all I want. But if someone thinks that I'm not a fine girl, that's them. They can think that all they want. I know that I'm cute. Like, no one's gonna stop me from thinking that about myself. And I hope no one stops y'all from thinking that y'all are cute based on someone else's like standards or whatever. Like, that doesn't even matter. My friend has experienced pretty privilege before, and even if she never experienced pretty privilege, it didn't mean that she was like an ugly person. It doesn't mean that should stop her good time. And basically that's what I was telling her. I was just like, girl, it doesn't even matter. Like, do you want them to dictate what the rest of your time is going to be like here? Like, you came all the way from XYZ to have fun here, and you want that one person that you don't know to dictate whether you have a good time or not? And she was like, okay, yeah, you're right. And I was like, yeah, like, that person doesn't even matter. You should have let me know that, like, they said that. Because honestly, like, I'm a bold person. Like, and they know that. And sometimes they use that to their advantage, and I didn't like that. But yeah, like, that was something where I was just like, you're really gonna let someone, like, it was just, it's literally like one person. Like, you literally got numbers the other day and you mad because one person said that about you. And honestly, it was probably the drinking and all that stuff, maybe, that made her feel some type of way and in her feelings. And honestly, that's not the first time that happened, because if you've seen other story times where Megan was in it, Megan has definitely went off over less. So when that happened, I was just like, but she cried, and I'm just like, yeah, you don't want to cry. Like, you didn't come on vacation to cry. Like, F that person. You don't even know them. Like, they don't even matter. They live, I was gonna say millions of miles away from you. They live thousands of miles away from you. They don't even matter. So she was like, okay, yeah, and all that stuff. So we end up having a good time. We go around, we having fun, we're eating, we dancing. This one person, they like try to pick me up, and then I fall. Like, we're still friends to this, we still friends to this day. But I'm just like, no, you dropped me. Stop playing. You dropped me. Okay. Like, they always was like, I didn't drop you. They're Canadian Jamaican. They're like, I didn't drop you, bro. I didn't drop you. And I'm just like, yeah, you did. You did drop me. That had nothing to do with me. That was all you. Okay. But anyways, we have a good time. We eat, and now it's time for Farmer Nappy comes out. Nadia Batson comes out. And we're dancing. I'm like, so long gonna see you. Give me a wine. Give me a wine. Long time. So long gonna see you. Give me a wine. Give me a wine. I was having so much fun. She was having so much fun. And I'll put the clips in here if I can find them. So we have a good time. I call up. It's basically over with. I call, who do I call? Oh, I called Habibi, and Habibi was not around. Like, he called me, he was like, hey, I'm on a ride, I'm all the way in, like, it wasn't Jacksonville, where was he? He was all the way in Hollywood, Florida, and I was like, oh man, so we couldn't get him. So I just called up some random Uber. The random Uber came, got us, and took us to the room. So we get in the room. We have a good time. It's like late. It's like midnight. We get ready to go out. When we go out, we have a good time. It's nothing really to talk about. No crazy stuff. I know she is still texting. She's still texting Crybaby and Ade. That's what I called him. And Ade. I'm still texting my bae, but he not responding as much. I'm like, Brit bae, you know you should be responding to my text messages. And he followed me on here, but basically now, Brit bae, you know my thoughts, okay? You already knew my thoughts on this situation, but now I'm just like, why the isn't he responding to me? And it was a good bit of people at Carnival, so I didn't see him when it was actually the Carnival day. So he's probably out here getting some other American Girl number, all right? So now it's the next day. Next day, me and Megan, we decided to get a couples massage. And it felt so good. Now for a couple massages, you know your face is going to be into the thing and everything. So we didn't have any makeup on because your face is like plastered into the thing. It's a chill day. Okay, so we plan to go to this party and it's a swim party. But we wanted to get our massages first. We go to get our massages and it feels so good. We had a fun time. And then, or relaxing time, I should say. And then we decide, okay, let's go get ready to go to this party. Well, Megan, I guess she needs a bathing suit. How you go to Miami and don't have a bathing suit? So she was like, okay, let's go to Forever 21. We go to Forever 21. She tries on things. I'm just kind of like casually shopping because I'm already ready. Like, I came ready. So she's like looking at different things. We get in the Uber. It takes us back to the house. It takes us to like this other place. And by the way, she doesn't find a bathing suit that she likes. So she calls, so she looks at me and she's like, I left my cell phone. And she had like the newest cell phone that was out at the time. And I was like, ooh, like my heart was beating for her. Cause girl, that would get snatched up so fast. So she was like looking around. She's like, she retraced her steps in Forever 21. She's like, oh my gosh. Like I lost my cell phone. Mom was gonna be so mad at me. And I felt sorry for her. So she was like, can you please call the Uber? Call the Uber and let him. The Uber couldn't speak English. That's why she asked me to call him. So I was like, okay, I'll call the Uber. I call the Uber and I'm like, this is translated. And I'm like, hey, do you know, did you see a cell phone? Did you see a cell phone? He's like, yeah, I saw a cell phone, but I need to finish this ride. I have it in my pocket, but I'm going to give it to y'all. Okay, I'm going to give it to y'all. And I was like, okay, thank you so much. So then we're sitting on the side in the mall. And my friend Megan, she keeps asking me, hey, where's the Uber? Where's the Uber? Is the phone gonna come? Is the phone gonna come? Is the phone gonna come? When I already told her he's bringing the phone, he just has to finish his call. His ride. And then she was like being like really anxious, but I can kind of understand where she's coming from that because like those phones expensive and it was like when it was fresh, new, like it was new. So she was like feeling really worked up about that. So we're waiting on it. And eventually she wanted me to call him again. I'm just like, hey, are you right here in Spanish? And then he was like, yeah, I'm on way here in Spanish back. And then she said something to me, but I responded to her in Spanish and she was like, what you saying? And then I responded in English and then she said what she wanted to ask the guy. And then I said what she wanted to ask the guy in English and he was like, ¿qué? And then I was like, I said it in Spanish and then he was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm coming, I just gotta finish the ride. So now he getting annoyed. I'm like, girl, you don't want to annoy him. And then he decided he don't want to come here and he's like, F it, I'm gonna sell the phone. So I was just like, I let him know like, hey, just call me when you here. And then I was like, yeah, he's gonna call us when he's here, okay? I know you worked up. Like I tried to calm her down about it because I understand her being worked up about it, but I'm just like, hey, calm down because you don't want to tick off the person that's helping you. So that happened and then we basically missed the party because of her phone. So then we are like, okay, let's go to the strip. We can go to the strip and get into some stuff. So we go to the strip, we eat. Y'all know how the food is on the strip. It's not great food. You basically just go there for the drinks and to people watch and get into the mix of things. So we get there. We're having fun time and oh yeah, so now Brit Bae is being a better texter. So that happens and then like him being a good texter and then this guy sits next to me and well, first it was this girl sitting next to me, or next to me and Megan, and she was like by herself for a while. And I was like, why is she here by herself? That's kind of weird. But then we started talking to her a little bit. It was like, hey, and all that stuff. And then a guy came all of a sudden. Now, when the guy came, they were talking him and the girl were talking for a little bit, but then the guy started talking to me because we had something in common. I don't remember, but we had something in common, and we continued talking. And then I kind of like went back to my friend because I'm like, you here with a girl, like I'm not talking to you like that. And then he continued talking to me. So then the girl got upset, and then she shaded me because I don't remember why she shaded like my hair, and nothing was wrong with my hair, okay? She was just being salty, okay? Because that humidity was getting to her hair. If anybody should have been coming for somebody, it should have been me coming for her. But she came for me because she was feeling insecure, I guess, because the guy she came there to talk with was talking to me. And trust me, I didn't want him. I did not want him, right? So they eventually go off and they do whatever they're doing, what they decided to do. And then all of a sudden, I see a guy that comes in, okay? Hey, I know you're watching. So the guy come in with a group of friends, and we are gonna we're not gonna name him right now, okay? But it's a group of guys come in, and I see one of them, and I'm just like, wow, he's cute. He's like chocolate. He's like a nice chiseled cheek and everything, or a nice chiseled jaw and everything. And I was like, oh wow, he's cute. And the reason why he like kind of stood out is because he wasn't drinking his drink as much as everyone else. So I kind of like noticed him. And then I just continued talking to Megan. So me and Megan, we're talking, Kiki, and you know, talking just about our time in general. And then I'm texting, what's his name? I'm texting Britt Bay. So Britt Bay, he's like, yeah, like Britt Bay and Ade, they were living like on the strip, but they weren't staying in the same place, but they were both had places on the strip. So Britt Bay was like, yeah, I'm gonna be over there, you know, we can have like, you know, dinner or whatever together. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm right here, you can come whenever you want to. So he comes over, and guess who comes with him? Ade. Okay, and at this point, Megan is not talking to Ade because of the awkward situation in part 2. So it's just like, ooh, so they like kind of testing the waters between each other. And then that's when Ade shares like, I can't believe you danced with him. Like, are you serious? Like, that had Gucci on, Gucci headband, Gucci shirt, Gucci pants, Gucci rush watch, Gucci everything. Like, that's not how you dress. That's not how you dress. You know, the Europeans, they know how to dress well. But I feel like anyone knows that. Like, you don't wear Gucci everywhere. Like, that's so tacky. That's basically what Crybaby had on. And Ade was going in, and Megan felt some type of way because in her head, this was her boyfriend. Like, New York Baby was her boyfriend in her head. So I kind of in his head too. They were both crazy. So Megan was like, well, blah, 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 blah. You can't talk about what somebody has on and all that stuff. And they're going into it. And then the waitress comes. She's like, hey, do you guys want any shots or anything? And all that stuff. And then me and Britt Bay, he had to go get something. He had to go get his luggage because his flight was gonna like leave at 6 p.m. So I was like, you know, I gotta see my babe before he go back to England. So then we went to the room together. We went to his hotel room together. So I was like, I'm trying to spend all the time I can with my Britt Bay before he leaves and go back to London. So I go, we walk together, we're having fun and all that stuff, and then we go into like his room's cool, and then he gets some of his things, and then he uses the restroom. So when he's using the restroom, I'm just kind of like trying to peek in there, so I'm like, what you working with? So then I didn't see anything, and he hid stuff, and I was just like, okay, I'm sorry, I don't look at you. So then I don't look at him, and then he gathers his things, and then he has his suitcase, and then we go back to the restaurant. So we're back at the restaurant. My friend like, and I'm like, no, nothing happened at all. So while we're sitting down, the waitress comes back, and she's like, hey, y'all want anything else? And then I don't know why, but this really like ticked off Ade, and Ade was like, he said something, and he was like, have you no decorum? And then I was like, who uses decorum in everyday language? Okay. But I definitely have after that instance. But I was just like, what's going on? So he was like so upset at the thing, and then Britt Bae is like,
why is he going off on this woman like that?
And then Megan's like, I knew this was crazy. And then Britt Bae is like, oh my goodness. And he's like, not Britt Bae, Ade. And then Ade was like, oh my goodness, and all that stuff. And then Britt Bae basically takes Ade, and then they like walk out to do their own thing. Actually, I'm gonna have to ask Britt Bae like what happened after that. So now it's just me and Megan again, and Megan is like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe Ade did that. See, that's why I didn't want to be with his crazy anyway. Like, he's been acting crazy since the very beginning, when honestly both the guys were crazy. So we're talking, and then we are like now getting ready to go. Now mind you, me and Megan, we were gonna have a wine night in for our final day in Miami. So we get ready to go, and while we're getting ready to go, that's when I like peep at that table that had like the cute guy at it, right? So I'm like, oh man, the cute guy not there anymore. So I'm like, okay, so me and Megan walk out. So while we walk out, I wanted to go to the beach a little bit. I love the beach. And so I wanted to go to the beach, and while I'm at the beach, this like tall guy, apparently his name's Jamal, and Jamal was like,
oh, hey, where you guys headed?
And then I was like, oh, we're just like walking around. And then that's when I saw the cute guy, and I was like, ha, in my head. And then I was like, hey, like, are you two together? And then he was like,
oh yeah, these are my friends.
and I was like, okay. So that's when the cute guy came over, and he was like,
oh hey,
what's your name gonna be, huh? We're gonna call you Abdul, okay? I know you watching, okay? So Abdul. So he was like, oh, this is my friend Abdul. And I was like, oh my God. Oh, in my head, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was like, oh, hey, Abdul. And then Abdul was like, oh, hey, what's your name? And then I was like, you know, I'm Fine Girl Dime and all that. And then he was like, we were like talking, and then it just got like really intense. Like this energy was just like, oh. And then I was just like, oh yeah. And then he was like coming to my face, and then I like came to his face, and then we were like forehead to forehead at one point, and it was just like very connecting. Okay, it was very connecting. It sounds really weird, and it probably was weird for the people who were watching us do this, but it was very connecting, and we were just like, oh man. So we just started talking, and I brought up my dad, because my dad treats me like so well. I love my dad so much. Somehow he came into the conversation, my dad, and then we were just talking, and so we exchanged numbers, and we were just like talking. He had like two different numbers. One number was like his number while he was in America, and then the other number was when the other number was the number when he's like in England. So I was just like, okay. So we're talking, I'm having a good time talking, and then all of a sudden Megan's like, we gotta go. I don't know why you're talking to him and all that stuff. And I'm just like, we're just talking, like, hold on. And then I'm talking to Abdul, and Abdul was like, he was like basically peeping what was going on, and like actually Abdul ended up being one of the people to tell me like, you know what, Megan is not your friend. But I didn't see this at this point. So me and Megan, we're just like kind of like going back at it, kind of back and forth, and I'm just like, it's kind of weird. So basically she's like, we need to go right now. And I was just like, what happened? Because I'm thinking something happened between like her and the other guys, but nothing happened between her and the other guys, and I'm thinking that's why she was upset. So we go into the we get like some sandwiches, because our place was like in Little Havana, so we get some cubanos, and then we head to the house, and we're supposed to have wine, right? We're supposed to be having a wine night in, but she is mad, and I am upset at her being mad at me. So I'm just like, what's the problem? And then she was like, you wanted to spend so much time on the strip. And I was just like, we didn't spend that much time on the strip. Like, I'm on the strip. Majority of our time was like eating. And the only time I didn't even really spend time on the strip aside from like walking into the hotel room for Britt Bae to get his suitcase and come back out to the restaurant we were at. And then she was like, no, we were talking to them for such a long time. And I was like, no, we weren't. Like, we were literally talking to them for like maybe 10 minutes. And then she was like so mad about that. And then I was like, you know what? You honestly can't even be mad about that time that I spent talking to Abdul because you brought someone to the house. Like, why are you mad over me having a conversation when you brought a whole person over and you kind of ended the night that we were supposed to have early because you wanted to get your pum-pum done by this guy, Crybaby? Like, it doesn't equal. You remember yesterday I told you, oh, remember what you're saying right now? Remember what you did right now? Because let's say the tables have turned. Honestly, the tables didn't even turn because I was literally having a conversation. But just imagine, fine girls, just imagine if I had brought Abdul over to like do what, you know, Megan did. I would not have. The way she reacted over that was crazy. So with that being said, me and her are going back and forth at this point. And then I was just like, you know what? You can do whatever you want to do. Have at it. I don't even care. I'm just going to go to sleep. So I go to sleep. We wake up the next morning. She wakes up the next morning. She doesn't even want to talk about what happened yesterday because she knew she was in the wrong. And that's something that she did frequently. Like, she would get upset about something and she wouldn't want to acknowledge it or talk about it the next day because that's the way she would like gaslight me in that friendship and try to make me feel like I was the person in the wrong. So then we wake up the next morning and then we see a roach and I'm just like, get the vase, kill it. And then she gets the vase and then she hits it on the roach and then the roach is dead, but the vase is in pieces. So we're just like, oh crap. And I was like, that was the dumbest idea I ever had. Why would I tell you to get a vase and kill the roach, smash it on the ground knowing that that vase will fall? So then we had to like use our glue from like making our costumes to try and put it back together. So basically it was like as if that situation yesterday never happened. And I don't really like operating like that. Like, I love talking about stuff that's an issue and like I feel like that brings you closer together when you're able to talk about stuff that was an issue and then get past it. Like, if you don't talk about things, how does it get better? And actually, this story is going to be a piece of another story coming because me and Megan end up not being friends eventually. All that happened. It's the next day. We're packing. We're getting ready to go. And she doesn't apologize for anything. I don't apologize for anything because I was just like, I was literally just talking to someone on the strip. Like, our first day here, we talked to people on the strip and it wasn't an issue. And it seems like whenever she doesn't get male attention, that's when things are an issue. Like, there have been moments where Megan gets male attention and I don't get mad at her for having male attention. I be hyping her up. I be like, yeah, best friend. Or I go and like let her have her time to be with like whatever guy is giving her attention. Like, it's not a big deal to me. Long as my friends are happy, I'm happy. But that situation let me know that it was not the same way. So basically we're friends now. We pretend like the argument yesterday did not even happen and we are on good terms and we each go to our own cities. I go back to my city. And the relationship that I had is still like, you know, it's the beginning of the end because when I was at the airport getting ready to go to Miami, that was the moment I realized that that person that I was with was not the person for me. And yeah, that was so much. The trip itself was fun, but I like later talked to people and it's so crazy because so many people warned me about Megan and I just didn't see it because we had so much fun. And it was like at one point where I would miss the friendship, but then I realized that my perception of the friendship was not the reality of the friendship that was in place. Like, my perception of the friendship is what I missed. But the reality of the friendship was not what I missed. And I will tell y'all about that later, okay? I will tell you about that later. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I encourage all of y'all to go to Miami Carnival. It's so much fun. Bye.